Full screen tayo and earphones on. However, it is necessary that creditors should first exhaust the partnership assets before they can have recourse against the personal properties of the said partner. The partner is called a general partner. Okay? Mutual agency. In the absence of an agreement to the contrary, all partners have equal rights in the management and conduct of the partnership business. When a partner performs an act within the scope of actual or apparent authority, he is not only a principal as to himself, but is also for all purposes an agent to his co-partners or to the partnership considered as a group. So yung first part, madali lang intindihin. Ang sabi, pag wala daw pinag-usapan in the absence of any agreement, to the contrary, sa kabaliktaran, equal or pantay-pantay ang karapatan ng mga partners sa management and conduct. Itong second part, let's clarify this using an example. Si Mr. A ay partner sa partnerships A, B, and C. Napagkasunduan din that one of Mr. A's responsibility, kasi maliit pa lang naman yung business, is to make delivery to customers using the partnership vehicle, partnership van, say for example. Okay? So habang nagdi-deliver ngayon si Mr. A, may biglang tumawid na pedestrian. Okay? So to cut the story short, nabundol niya yung pedestrian. Ang tanong, pananagutan ba ng partnership yung aksidente na naganap with regards Mr. A at doon kay pedestrian Mr. X? Answer, yes, because A is acting, within the scope of actual or apparent authority. Nangyari yung insidente na yon, okay, while Mr. A was doing an act which is for the partnership and it is within his scope of authority. Ayan. Paano naman sinabi letter B kung halimbawa si Mr. A, itinakbo yung van nila, ginamit pang beer house, ginabi, at saka kahit lasing, nagmaneho, and just like in the first scenario, nakabundol din ng pedestrian. Pananagutan din ba ng partnership yung kanyang nagawa? Answer, no. It is not within the scope of his authority. Such incident did not happen while A was doing his job. Okay? So, it is not within his scope of actual or apparent authority. Yun yung ibig sabihin niyang second part na dyan. Meron pa rin tayong example dito sa baba. Mutual agency means that each partner acts on behalf of the partnership. That is correct. When engaging in partnership business, the act of any partner is binding on all other partners. So kung anong nagawa mo within your authority, even though not actual but apparent only, okay, will be binding. Ibig sabihin nun, paninindigan or pananagutan ng partnership yung nagawa mo if it is within your actual or apparent authority. This is even true when partners act beyond the actual but within the apparent authority or scope of their authority, so long as the act appears to be appropriate for the partnership. Ganda ng pagkakasabi. For example, a partner of a grocery store who purchases a delivery truck creates a binding agreement or contract in the name of the partnership. Even if hindi naman talaga pinag-usapan ng mga partners na bumili siya ng truck in behalf of the partnership. But since, kung titignan mo yung business, okay, ang kanilang business ay grocery store, so related yung pag-purchase niya ng delivery truck. So, that partner actually binds the partnership to that contract. On the other hand, sabi naman dito, in contrast, if a partner in a law firm purchase a snowmobile for partnership, such act would not be binding on the partnership. Kasi wala namang kinalaman yung snowmobile doon sa law firm. The purchase is clearly outside the scope of partnership business. Ayan. Next, co-ownership of profits. Regardless of the amount of his investment, a partner is always considered as part owner of partnership profits. If the partnership contract does not specify to the contrary, all net income or net loss are shared in proportion to capital contributions by the partner. So class, ingat kayo dito. Okay? Kasi ang daming nagtatanong sa akin sa online, bakit daw yung pinapasolve ng teacher nila, it turns out ganito yung sagot. Pagka daw silent yung problem, equally daw ang hatian ng net income, net loss. That is wrong, class. Okay? If the problem is silent, if the partnership contract does not specify, hindi siya equally. It must be in proportion to capital contributions. Paano nangyari yon? Saan nakuha nung teacher na yun yung sagot? US GAAP ang sagot, class. In the Philippines, we do not follow US GAAP. Sa US kasi, pagka silent ang problem, as we have already said, equally ang mangyayari. Pero dito sa atin, hindi. In proportion to capital contributions. That is the correct approach. So, you would have to compute for the weighted average capital. Ayan. Weighted average, usually, not the simple average. All of this you will learn when we go to chapter 3. Ayan. Partnership operations. Although partners may agree to any other terms of sharing of net income or loss, if the agreement describes how income should be shared but does not mention losses, losses are distributed in the same way as income. So, although madi-discuss din natin, yun nga, sa ating partnership operations, bigyan na natin ng pasakali. Okay? Pagka silent yung problem, ang hatian must be in proportion to capital contributions, hindi siya equally. Pero ang tatandaan mo lagi, ang bibigyang diin ay yung agreement. Okay? Kung merong napagkasunduan, for as long as the agreement is not against law, public customs, morals, etc., etc., yung agreement ang masusunod. Now, in the absence of the agreement, tsaka lang papasok yung batas na nagsasabing kung ano yung just and equitable, ayan, etc., etc. Ngayon, kung napag-agrihan daw nila yung hatian ng income pero hindi yung losses in the same proportion or ratio. Ayan. Any agreement which excludes any partner from participation in profits or losses is void. Only the industrial partner may be exempted from liability in case of loss. Una sa lahat, ano ba yung industrial partner? Later. Pangalawa, bakit exempted siya sa loss? Later din. Ayan. Parang unfair naman yata yun, sir. Ha? Pwede siyang ma-exempt sa loss. Pero pag may gain kasali siya, pwede ba yun? Pwede. Industrial partner. Later on. Okay? Hindi yun unfair, class. Hindi yun unfair. May justification dyan ang batas. Co-ownership of specific partnership property. Properties invested in a partnership is no longer separately owned by the contributor. The party who invests the property in a partnership gives up his right to separate enjoyment and use of such property. In transferring the property, he does acquire an interest as a co-owner in properties identified with the partnership. So, ano ibig sabihin nun? Say for example, kinontribute mo yung computer mo at saka yung printer, ibig sabihin nun, you're no longer the owner of that particular property, but a co-owner na lang ng property na yon. So in the event na mag-ayawan na, hindi mo po pwedeng bawiin yung computer mo at saka yung printer mo. Okay? Generally. Alright? Generally. Ang karapatan mo na lang doon is as a co-owner in proportion to the value of that property, in proportion to the right that you have on the partnership. Ayan. If the partnership is dissolved, each partner has a claim on total assets equal to the balance of his or her respective capital account. Yan yung sinasabi natin kanina. This claim does not attach to specific assets. So, hindi mo na po pwedeng sabihin na, oy, yung claim ko, dun lang, kukunin ko yun. Well, depende na sa usapan yun, but generally, it doesn't work that way. That an individual partner contributed to the firm. For example, if a partner contributed machinery valued at 100,000 and upon dissolution and eventual liquidation and after outside claims have been satisfied, the said asset is sold at a gain of 20,000, then all the partners share in the said gain according to their profit distribution. When teachers like me teach in front of a live audience, we derive satisfaction to some extent from the interaction with students. Yung mga simpleng pagtawa mo sa mga jokes namin, they mean something to us. They make us happy. But teaching in front of the camera is a different thing. We don't even know if you're there. We don't even know if you're listening. So, a simple like dun sa ating video or a simple present, sir, nandito po kami nakikinig. We are watching, sir, will inspire us. When teachers like me teach in front of a live audience, we know that you're there. But teaching in front of the camera is not merely sharing our content. It means sharing our time, our devotion, and above all, our passion. So, yung simpleng pag-subscribe mo sa amin, it lets us know that you are there and we are here to continue what we are doing. So ngayon pa lang, nagpapasalamat na kami dyan sa yung subscription. It inspires us. It inspires me to wake up every morning, prepare discussion materials, and continue what I am doing. So thank you so much. Please continue sharing and liking and subscribing. Thank you. Underlying equity theories. Equity theories relate to how an entity is viewed from an accounting and legal viewpoint. These theories deal with the question of who is the entity. For example, an entity may be viewed as being providers of capital, individual owners, partners, or shareholders, management, or a separate, distinct legal entity. First one, baka matanong sa mga theories sa quizzes ninyo. Proprietary theory. Partnerships have been primarily affected by the proprietary theory, which looks at the entity through the eyes of the owner. Through the eyes of the owners. Characteristics of a partnership that may emphasize or that emphasize that the entity is viewed as the individual owners include the following. First bullet point. Salaries to partners are viewed as distribution of income rather than a component of income. Second bullet point. Unlimited liability of general partners extend beyond the entity to the individual partners. Third bullet point. Income of the partnership is not taxed at the partnership level, but rather is included as part of the partner's individual taxable income. You'll see this when you have your taxation subjects. Fourth, an original partnership is dissolved upon the admission or withdrawal of a partner. These are all characteristics. Some of these actually govern your computations later on. Okay? Ang sabi dyan, yun sa unang bullet point, salaries to partners are viewed as distribution of income rather than a component of income. To explain the first bullet point, class, distribution siya ng income rather than component of income kasi yung salaries to partners are not considered salaries expenses to be included in the computation of the net income in the income statement. And kasali siya dun sa profit distribution schedule. Okay? Hindi siya considered operating expense. Ayan. Unlimited liability of partners extend beyond the entity to the individual partner. So, na-explain na natin to partly kanina nung na-introduce yung general partner. Okay? So, pagkakulang na yung assets to satisfy the liabilities from outside creditors, pwedeng habulin yung separate individual assets ng general parts. Third bullet point, income of the partnership is not taxed. Correct yan. Okay? As I have said, you'll see this when you have your taxation subject. Original partnership is dissolved upon admission or withdrawal. Nabanggit na din natin yan kanina dun sa introduction natin ng dissolution. Any change in the partnership relationship, may umalis na isa, may nadagdag, maski ilan pa man yan, na-dissolve yung partnership. So all of these are under the proprietary theory. Entity theory. Partnerships also have been influenced by the entity theory. From the legal point of view, this theory views the business unit as a separate and distinct entity possessing its own existence apart from the individual partners. This theory is characteristic of corporations, yet it is the basis for certain partnership characteristics. Correct. For example, a partnership may enter into contract in its own name. Yes. Also, property contributed to a partnership by individuals or individual partners becomes the partnership property or the property of the partnership, and the contributing partner no longer retains claim to the specific assets contributed. Kaka-discuss lang natin kanina. Also, in the accounting sense, the business is treated as a unit separate and distinct from the owner or owners entity concept. Thus, the personal transactions of the owners not affecting the businesses or business are not recorded in the books of the business. The business has its own financial health irrespective of personal finances of the owner or owners. Entity concept nga. The reason for this concept is to be fair presentation of the financial statements. This is accomplished by separate accounting of business transactions from personal transactions. Advantages of partnership. Ease of formation. Madali lang daw siyang buuin. So, imagine, even by verbal po pwede. Okay, so basahin natin. Just in passing, class ha. Partnerships do not have to go through much of the formalities needed to form a corporation. Tama. Pagka kasi corporation, necessarily you have to register to government agencies such as SEC, Securities and Exchange Commission. Additionally, partnerships are relatively free from government regulations and restrictions. Hindi naman free, sabi niya class, relatively free. Ayan ha. Ibig sabihin, compared sa corporation. May be created by verbal or written between two or more persons who may be implied by their actions. Kanina pa ito, ano ba ibig sabihin itong may be or may be implied by their actions? Pwede kasi kayong maging partners class kahit na hindi naman talaga just because of your actions. Ayan. Later on, dun sa kinds of partnership naman, mapag-aaralan natin yan. Although a partnership may come into existence even without having to receive formal, legal, or government approval, it is still necessary to carefully plan and evaluate various factors affecting the partnership. Forward and formal thinking when organizing a partnership will benefit both the business and its partners. So tulad ng sabi natin kanina, although pwede siyang verbal lang, mas maganda yung written. But when we're talking about validity, kahit verbal lang yan, valid nga. Although, putting it down in writing later on will save you from much trouble. Next advantage, greater source of capital. Okay? Compared naman to a sole proprietorship, a partnership may raise more capital since there are more persons composing the business. Yun lang yun. Sole proprietorships can only raise capital from personal funds of the sole proprietor as well as from borrowings, which will be dependent upon the credit worthiness, sabi dito, of the sole proprietor. Partnership by nature can receive more funding. Okay? Siyempre, mas madami nga sila because more personal loans are available in terms of loans and ownership interest may be offered to attract potential investors. Better management. O, mas madami sila. So, sabi natin dito, two heads are better than one. Ayan. If both heads are not empty. Oh, joke lang. Okay? Biro lang. Sabi natin dito, in this case, two or more, hindi lang two heads are better than one. Flexibility of operation. Decisions are made by the managing partner in most instances. Okay? Changes in enterprise may be effected simply by agreement among the partners without the formalities necessary under a corporation. Partners generally can make decisions quickly on substantive matters without having to consult board of directors. Correct. Pagka kasi corporation, ang daming formalities. Tatawag ng meeting, kailangan may secretary, etc. etc. Ang dami talagang formalities. Pero as to pagka-partnership, pwedeng, di ba? Alam mo naman, usap-usap, kahit informal lang, and then you can immediately carry out kung anong pinag-usapan, mas mabilis yung action. So, flexible yung kanilang operation. Disadvantages of partnership. Siyempre, may mga disadvantages din. Some are as follows. Unlimited liability. Okay? Many individuals fear that they may lose not only their initial investment but also their personal assets if those assets are needed to pay partnership creditors. A partnership creditor can run after the personal properties of a general partner in the event that partnership assets are not sufficient to meet its obligations. This is the second point emphasized under the proprietary theory. That is correct. Pagka kasi ikaw ay general partner, as we have said, kayang habulin separate properties mo. Adi ayoko nang maging general partner, sir. Limited partner na lang ako. Ayan. Pero nga class, you cannot form any partnership without having at least one general partner. Yun ang problema. Tsaka may advantages din ang pagiging general partner. O disadvantage yan, paulit-ulit nang nabanggit kanina. Limited life of the business. If Aguinaldo, Bondoc, Claveria, and Daliwan forms a partnership, then one of the basic premise for the continuance of this partnership is also the continuance of such association or relation. Thus, any change will dissolve the partnership. Pag umalis si Bondoc, may pumasok na iba, o kaya umalis ang kahit na sino sa kanila, alright? O kaya nagdagdag ng kahit na ilan, then madidissolve na yung original partnership. Therefore, the business has a very limited life. Very volatile or sensitive yung existence ng partnership as compared to corporation. Okay, class. So that's the bell already. That's it for this meeting. So, ganun-ganun lang, class. A few minutes of your time every day, imbis na kung ano-ano yung pinapanood mo, just make it a habit to watch our videos bilang tulong na rin dun sa sarili mong pag-aaral. Why? Kasi tatandaan mo, hindi lahat ng nababasa mo ng mag-isa ay maririnig mo. At hindi din lahat ng mga naririnig mo ay mababasa mo. Tulungan yan. So with that, see you in our next meeting. See you in the next lesson.